Hello everybody, AC Weezy here. As you can see based on my shirt, I am in a pretty decent situation. But I just want to mention in this video, I thought of on a whim while I was editing my next video coming out. I was compelled to make this video, and that is discussing AI and witchcraft or spirituality. Because at this point, it is getting more and more advanced, and honestly, we are just at the point where it's already been introduced into witchcraft and spirituality, and it is my belief that it is going to forever be a part of that system, as with everything else in humanity. Now, I'm making this video on the whim, as I mentioned, so a lot of the points I'm just thinking of out of thin air, and I might do a full-on better in-depth video explaining exactly the details between witchcraft and AI and how they affect each other, for the better and the worse. But for now, I'm just going to do this quick video just to kind of bring it out there into the community and to make it more well-known. I recently attended a convocation, and there was one question I had in the back of my mind, but I've just forgotten when speaking to each pagan elder, and specifically Obronzo, I want to mention to him. So if you're watching this, I plan to ask you this question in person too, or you can comment online. So without further ado, I would like to mention briefly a few points I have thought about with AI and witchcraft, spirituality, and some pros and cons of each. You know, pros and cons of AI affecting witchcraft and spirituality. So we'll begin with number one. So to clear off everything real quick, to put this on the table to let everyone know, AI is flawed. AI, as fiction and media may portray it, is not all-knowing and is not the highest peak of information, at least not yet. By that I mean, when people use ChatGPT, I've noticed they read it religiously. Everything that thing gives it, it's almost like they're reading the Bible. And it's alarming because if an AI can just tell you whatever, that's all you're going to believe in. But you need to make sure you check your sources and make sure it is valid what you are researching. Just because you ask the AI, about a certain recipe or a certain aspect about a deity, doesn't mean it's fully, true. I understand that AI only takes information from online and it regurgitates it into that summarized format that many of you are used to on ChatGPT or those other apps I'm not familiar with. I think there's one called Whale. It's a Chinese app, I forgot. But what I wanted to address was how with AI, you got to make sure your sources are definitely correct and check for references, because I've used a little bit of AI myself just to kind of see how accurate it was. And it is a bit on point, but some things it clearly does have no information on. You can experiment yourself and see what AI is lacking in. But like I mentioned before, just make sure you're using proper references when using AI. Another thing with it being connected to the internet is that it's only been connected to the internet as long as the internet has been around, meaning that since like the late, I forgot when was the internet really made, maybe like the late 90s, 1997, I'm just going to say. But since then and now, that's the only time information it has. And since the creation of the internet, there's been documents and files and entire libraries posted online to give all of humanity's information online in this new format, this new media system. But with that being said, anything else further, like old traditions, things from isolated groups or isolated communities where they have certain mysteries within their rights, is completely absent from online and therefore also absent from AI. So some specific things you might be looking for aren't going to be there with using ChatGPT. Another crucial thing I want to mention too is that it's kind of a complex question that I'm not really going to get too deep into, but I'm going to try to explain to the best of my ability because I'm not too aware of it myself. But the aspect of AI itself and using it to communicate with your deities. So whenever I think of this, I'm just going to use an example, but whenever I think of people talking to their deities using ChatGPT, I always think about this one part in Horizon Zero Dawn Part 2, Forbidden West. And if you played the game before, you might be aware that the main character's tribe is part of the Nora, and the Nora have a great goddess deity they worship. And so in the second game, you see this goddess as the goddess is portrayed as this. So the goddess was made through the tribe, through religion, but she was based on the AI of Gaia, who, when the humanity was destroyed from another character's actions, they were reborn, and certain robots were made by humans to preserve the Earth and preserve humanity in its knowledge. And so one of those AIs was Gaia. And so whenever the main character and another supporting character come to the AI, one of the characters mentions how it's like talking to the All Mother. And I feel like that's kind of how it is now with using AI. I know a few people myself personally who use AI when communicating with their deities. I do not believe it is impossible for gods and spirits to communicate through the internet, through signs and omens, like witch talk, for example. You might see a TikTok saying, if you see the sign of Hecate is there. Or you could be going online, you could just be watching videos, and all of a sudden, black dog is right there. That could be a sign for Hecate. Or you can see something like a child, that could be a legua. It's all kinds of different things. And with AI, it is a complex question again. I am not here to discuss whether they are right or wrong using AI to communicate with deity, but it is a new format. It is a new way. So in that case, I'm not going to say inherently it's wrong, because as far as we know, what is wrong now might be right later on. So I'm just simply going to just put it out there that whether you believe it is right or wrong is dependent on how you see it. Some people will tell you it works excellently, and some people will even tell you that it is a great way to communicate with deities, because the gods are mysterious, but that is their thing. They are supposed to be mysterious because we are not to know of their true intention. Deities, although you might think of them as very high and good, are ambiguous. And spirits too. They have no true good or bad. They are simply in the neutral. And a lot of their information and knowledge is revealed through mysteries, through rites, and through practice as well, working with them. Perhaps to some people that might be a little bit challenging because they want to get right to what they want to know, like understanding a certain god's purpose, understanding their thoughts, their feelings, their inner, their emotions. Some people might not understand that, they might understand if a god is upset with them or if they're doing something. They have no idea to have clarity in that. So they are, but when it comes to the deities, to the gods and spirits as well, their true intentions are shrouded in mystery. And they are not like us. They are not like humans. And it might be hard to understand why a god is doing certain things. Some people might practice with Lilith, and they might find themselves thinking they offended Lilith, and it's something for them to figure out themselves, or to see what she likes and what she doesn't like. The gods will reveal what is needed, and they will provide if it must be provided for you, in order to expand upon their mysteries to help you evolve spiritually and to understand them better, to get closer to that deity. It is through trial and error. And when using AI, perhaps for some people, it gives more clarity, because you might not know what a certain deity requires or needs in the time that you need it. You might work with a deity, you might feel like they're upset with you, and using that AI could help you better understand why they are upset. Is the deity themselves talking through the AI? It is debatable. I personally do not believe it is, but who knows? Again, what could be wrong right now may be proven right in the future, or at least more accepted in the future. Much like with people using witch talk. Many people would say that witch talk, it spreads misinformation, it is invalid, don't trust that, people on there don't know what they're doing. It's the same argument for AI. So it depends on how you see it. Again, even though I might not fully believe that the deities can talk through AI, I'm not saying it's impossible. And again, as I mentioned, some people have actually done this, and they found great success doing this. A lot of them have actually furthered their relationship with these deities. Again, it is different, but it is not to be, as long as it's not harming them, and in my opinion, I feel like it's perfectly fine if they do this. So yeah, because I've also seen people using divination, using ChatGPT specifically for divination, which again, that is also debatable. You know, I feel like in a way it could replicate it, because if Google can flip a coin for you, who's to say it couldn't read cards for you? And one final point I would like to mention as well is the generation of formulas and rituals. I feel like AI could be a good way to structure these, especially if you have no idea how to structure these before, if you never had experience. Because many people, of course, would either do it orally, they would follow back traditions, and they would perform it as it was, maybe with some minor adjustments. Or some people would simply read books, like I would do. That's how I learned how to do my rituals. I would read books about the matter, and I would work on them like that, and then eventually I made my own. I would say I am considered lucky because I'm able to write really well. I actually do poetry, not as much as I used to, but I'm a very good poet, and I also like to do my own rituals as well. Perhaps it is a certain sense of, maybe it's a sense of self pride, but I enjoy doing things and content that I write myself. And I will admit, I did dabble AI to see what it could generate for me in certain styles. Like, let's say you want to do a hymn to Pan in a certain archaic Middle English kind of vibe. It would definitely generate that for you, and it's quite nice. If you want to base it off as a different song or hymn and parody it off each other, you can do that too. There's many ways you can use AI, and with rituals too, you can structure and format it exactly how you want with certain details added in. And it is a great way for those who have no idea what they're doing, to those who already know what to do and are already well adapted. For me personally, I feel like it's almost like cheating. If you are already creative enough to make these yourself, why would you go to AI and help it generate for you? You know, let that information flow. And if you have a blockage, do something to induce that creativity and unblock those blockages. It shouldn't be an excuse to go on the side, generate something real quick, and then add it into your thing. I feel like it is best if you write it yourself, if you are capable to do it. If you are not, I feel like it is okay if you would like to generate yourself a new formula. Now, understand these are going to be completely original recipes you're dealing with. So the effects that you want for your spells and rituals might vary. It could be powerful. It could be lame. It could be something in between. You'll want to experiment, of course. And even though the AI, again, it tells you the ingredients and it tells you why it chose it, doesn't mean it's always going to be the best. It doesn't mean it's tried and true, because again, you're doing an original recipe. And again, it is not always the ingredients it's not always the structure of the ingredients that is important, it's always the intention. So just make sure you're also putting that intention there when you're working with AI. Another mention as well is teachers. Teachers are very important in our community, our elders, of course, And even though in the greater spiritual community, we don't really have saints, some people do work with saints, but many people do not idolize these pagan elders and other spiritual pioneers, but rather we admire them and we read their teachings, or they teach us directly. And with AI teaching, it is a great way to learn, again, if you have no idea what you're doing. But again, if you are able to go to someone or go to a class and learn from them in person, I feel like it is much more preferred that way. If you cannot, and I mean you cannot find anyone within a nice 10-mile radius at least, perhaps AI will be best for you. But again, if you could, why not? Why not go to someone or go to a class? You know? So yeah. So a final point I would like to mention as well in regards to AI is the future of the community. The community in which AI is going to be a part of now. It is different, and frankly, I never thought I would see the day AI ever being created. I always thought it was something being more advanced, but I'm living in it, and at the age I am, I'm going to continue to see it and see how it affects the future of this community. So it is both interesting, unnerving, and exciting. to see where this goes. And again, what may be considered wrong or taboo now will change in the future. Again, back then, many people thought it was considered to be blasphemous if you use electronic candles, or if you wrote your grimoire online or in your notes in your phone. People seldomly would say it is okay for you to print it out. It must be handwritten to preserve the old ways and to make it authentic. But of course, convenience replaces the traditional ways. If it is more convenient for you, it will always replace what is traditional, simply because it is convenient, it is quick. And AI shows that well, even though it's not the most orthodox and a traditional thing, it is simply more convenient and is happily going to sit in its place in spirituality. So we're going to see where this goes. I just simply want to spread awareness on this subject because I feel like many people are ignoring the question, because we need to discuss about this. We need to control and regulate AI. We need to, if anything, also put laws for AI too. That's going to be a different subject, of course, not what I'm talking about, but laws regarding the control of AI and what can be said within it. And certain rules, or at least some highlights, should be mentioned within the community, and it should be brought to awareness, because already I've been to a few pagan markets and stores and they use AI generated images too. Personally, I feel like, again, my opinion, AI art is a valid form of art. It is different, but I feel like it is a way for people who are uncreative to generate something beautiful. If you are already artistic, again, keep doing what you're doing. I would support you, of course, because I am an artist myself. My pictures are somewhere around here. And it's, that's about what I got to say about AI. I got a few things to say about AI. I can keep going, but I'm simply going to end the video now because, again, this was simply on a whim. I wanted to mention it because I feel like it should really be brought to mention. And I hope for the next pagan con that I go to, it can be a panel discussion, and I would like to interview those who are there. So without further ado, I'm A.C. and I hope you enjoy this video. And in the style of Voice Critical, all right, see ya.